Welcome back to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're getting into a really fascinating piece of dialogue. It's between an author and, well, an interlocutor, digging deep into self-knowledge.
Yeah, and specifically how we genuinely own what we think we understand. It's about authenticity, really.
Exactly. Our mission, let's say, is to pull apart the core concepts here about how the mind structures itself.
And crucially, who this kind of intense self-reflection is actually for. That's where the conversation starts, and it gets specific fast.
Right. The dialogue immediately kind of narrows the field, defining a very particular audience for what the author terms self-digging.
Which is quite a striking phrase in itself.
It is. So the initial idea presented uses this library metaphor, which listeners might recall from previous discussions.
The basic premise being that this self-digging helps turn the chaos in our minds
The messy stacks of beliefs, the conflicting ideas.
into some kind of usable order, like organizing your internal library.
Makes sense. But then the interlocutor throws a wrench in the works.
They ask the obvious question, right? What about people whose lives seem perfectly fine? Stable job, happy family, everything looks okay on the outside.
Do they need this deep internal ordering?
And the author's answer is just blunt, direct.
Just they wouldn't, period.
Which is, honestly, quite refreshing in a world where every self-help technique claims to be universal. This immediately says, nope, not for everyone.
It really narrows it down. The text specifies this is primarily for those few, the 2%, as you once said, who don't feel that everything is fine.
So we're talking about a small group, people whose inner world feels off-kilter somehow.
Yeah, their sense of meaning, perception, or purpose doesn't quite hold together. It's an internal thing, maybe not obvious externally at all.
It could be that feeling of internal contradiction or maybe hitting a goal and feeling nothing, that kind of dissonance.
Exactly. The chaos is internal, acute, even if hidden.
So the author isn't trying to, like, enlighten the whole world with this.
No, not at all. It's about things that, as the text says, very rarely rise into ordinary awareness. You almost need to be in that state of questioning already.
That makes sense. But there is another type of person mentioned, isn't there?
Yes, good point. There's the other kind of person, the one who's drawn to this intuitively.
Right, not because of some big crisis, but just a feeling, an interest.
Yeah, an interest that has always been there, a kind of innate pull towards understanding these deeper things, even if they can't quite explain why.
The seeker type, perhaps? Driven by curiosity, a need to know?
And for them, the dialogue offers some reassurance about the path itself.
Ah, yes. When the interlocutor asks if the author's specific method is the only way.
The author says, no, there are 1,001 ways to reach the place they long to reach.
It's a lovely metaphor. It takes the pressure off finding the one true path.
It suggests a kind of convergence. All paths of sincere seeking eventually lead to the same place. It's about the sincerity of the search, not the specific map used.
That idea of finding your own way, or different ways leading to a similar understanding, actually sets up the next big topic really well.
Okay, so if we know who this is for, primarily those feeling that internal chaos or the intuitive seekers, how does the process actually work? How do you start ordering that mental library?
This is where it gets quite counterintuitive, I think.
You mean the reinventing the wheel part?
Exactly. Normally, reinventing the wheel is the definition of inefficiency, right? We're told not to do it, build on what exists.
Stand on the shoulders of giants, all that. But here, the author insists you must do it internally. Why?
Because the quality of the knowledge is different. It's about how deeply it's integrated, how much you truly own it.
Okay, walk us through that. The example used is key here.
Right, the comparison. Think about two pieces of knowledge you hold. First, burning your hand on a hot stove.
Ouch. Yeah, very direct experience.
And second, a common saying like, together we're stronger.
Yeah.
Something you've heard, probably agree with, but haven't necessarily verified through intense personal experience in the same way.
Okay, I see the difference immediately.
Now let's look at the source and the trust involved. The burned hand source is direct physical experience. The trust.
Absolute. Instantaneous, my body knows.
Yes, with my body, as the text says. You don't debate it. Now, together we're stronger. Source is usually external. Other people, culture, books, and the trust.
It's intellectual, based on reasoning, observation maybe, but not that gut-level certainty.
Exactly. Trusted only through reasoning, and that kind of trust is, well, it's more fragile. It requires conscious effort to maintain and apply.
The burned hand knowledge changes your behavior without thought. The platitude, maybe influences you, maybe not, depending on the situation.
Precisely. One is hardwired, the other needs active processing. So this raises a big question about where this reasoned knowledge actually resides in our minds.
You mean like its location? Is it easily accessible?
Yeah, the dialogue talks about knowledge location, almost like layers in the subconscious.
Okay, so the burned hand knowledge that's right there, isn't it?
It's close within arm's reach. Think of it like RAM in a computer fast access. Instantly available, deeply embedded.
Because I generated that knowledge point through direct experience.
Whereas the other kind, the belief accepted from others, like together we're stronger, or maybe even complex scientific theories you learned.
Where does that live?
It lies somewhere farther away, more like a file stored on a slower hard drive, maybe even archived.
Needs a specific search query, some intellectual curiosity to bring it online.
Right, it takes conscious effort to retrieve and apply it. It doesn't automatically guide your actions in the same immediate way.
Okay, this is fascinating. So the huge question then becomes, can we move knowledge?
Can we take something learned intellectually, something farther away, and bring it into that close, deeply trusted zone?
Make it as real and immediate as the burned hand.
That's the challenge, and the answer proposed involves this powerful idea of a signature.
The signature, okay, what does that mean?
It means that knowledge, moved into that core, trusted zone, gets imprinted with your personal mark. It bears the signature of their author, and the author is you.
So it stops being something I heard or something I read.
And becomes something I know. It signifies deep internal ownership, a personal verification.
The text says it's like declaring, this particular understanding of X, it's mine. I'm its author.
From now on, any new knowledge about X will be consciously compared with this one I own.
Wow, okay, so it becomes a foundational reference point, a filter for new information.
Exactly. It's not just data anymore. It's part of your internal operating system. You measure other related ideas against your own understanding, like your personal definition of justice or truth.
That makes sense. It's like building your own internal bedrock. But how do you move it? Do you have to physically experience everything, burn your hand on every concept?
Thankfully, no. That would be impractical.
And painful.
Definitely. The dialogue clarifies that relocation happens by living through an idea in some way.
Living through it.
Yeah.
So not necessarily physical action, but internal engagement.
Yes. It implies a process of deep consideration, application, maybe testing the idea in different mental scenarios, wrestling with it until it becomes integrated, turning intellectual property into, well, self-property.
So you internalize it, make it truly yours, give it your signature.
That's the essence of it. It's the difference between borrowing a tool and forging your own. And connecting this back, you can see how this fits into a larger framework the author is building.
Yeah, the dialogue definitely feels like part of an ongoing series. These ideas, the specific audience, the need to reinvent the wheel internally, the signature of own knowledge they build on each other.
Absolutely. It's laying groundwork, which is why, for listeners who might be new to this thread of thought, checking out the previous deep dives on the channel page is probably a good idea.
Good call. Context is helpful, especially with concepts like the 2% or the library metaphor we touched on.
They provide that background.
Okay, so let's recap our journey today. We started by identifying this very specific audience for self-digging, those feeling internal disorder or an intuitive pull.
Then we tackled the counterintuitive need to reinvent the wheel internally, distinguishing learned knowledge from owned knowledge.
And finally, we explored how knowledge gets relocated to that core, trusted zone by receiving our personal signature through a process of living through the idea.
It's a path toward authentic understanding, not just accumulated information.
A really thought-provoking framework, which leads us perfectly into the final thought for today.